Okay, so, hey, lock in a little bit. I'm gonna just talk for just a sec. You might already have something that serves this purpose. Let me make sure. Hopefully my mic is working. You might already have something that serves this purpose, but we're gonna, real quick, put together a very basic budgeting spreadsheet that has the functions of auto-calculating budgets, auto-calculating budgets covers a lot of things, and has color coordination with a little conditional formatting. All right, so you can either follow along with me step by step, or we can go back a little bit later and revisit individually. But here we are. Hey, guys, let me talk for a sec, and then you can talk. Okay. My favorite Excel formula, which is why this is a very specific, or not specific, I mean basic budgeting spreadsheet, is the sum function. Okay? I know some of you guys have already seen this, but if we take another look at my example spreadsheet, which should be this one, this is designed so that when I use it on my phone, so that I'm more likely to actually update my budgeting templates, each of these specific sections, specific categories, all has the automatic effect of doing these calculations. So we're going to look at this first part right here to figure out how much money we can spend where. I'm starting let me switch tabs, there we go. Very simply with two basic categories of needs and wants. You can define these a little bit later as we make iterations, we make different changes on these spreadsheets. But before we figure out how much we need and how much we want, we need something that's going to calculate a budget. So we're thinking about where our income comes from, whether that is money that you accrue from a job or from a hustle or money that is given to you. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I have the hiccups. I'm going to call this basic budget V1 in case we ever need to improve on it a little bit later. So with your income, this is going to calculate your budget for your needs and for your wants. I'm laying it out so that it makes sense on a phone screen. We want to just get these categories and sort of the pieces functional, right? You probably want an engine in your car before you make your car look pretty. We're going to build the engine at this point. So I like to highlight drawing boxes around the different sections. Right? If income is one section separate from the breakdown of what income becomes, that was a very Dr. Seuss type sentence, I'm going to put borders around each of these sections where a formula will end up. Okay? So because needs and wants are the breakdown of what income is trying to calculate, I'm going to hold shift and click on these two cells right here, go up next to my paint bucket, and I'm just going to add an outer border so that I have these two little sections like this, just to kind of draw your attention. I might actually, what if we did this? No, I'll try to, can I zoom in? Oh, that's wrong. Okay, there we go. All right, so in order for income to be calculated, we need a section to put our needs and we need a section to put our wants. If we go over and look at my example, that takes the form of what types of ways am I spending my money. Bills is a need, fun is a want, groceries is a need, savings is kind of its own thing. But I have mine more specific into something like this. Okay? You can see this is where my income goes in, this is where my budget gets calculated, and then we're going to get to this step a little bit later. All right? So back here, I'm going to have a pillar or a column, which I'm going to give a little bit of a border, like this, so that it separates it from the other parts over here. These are going to be my needs. You can change this to be whatever you want it to be. It can be subscriptions. It can be your. It doesn't have to be as basic as needs and wants, but what it does need, is a total section. All right. I'm going to center these so they're a little easier to see. Put a box around the total section so that I know that it's separate from the needs. All right. we're going to do this one more time for wants by selecting the outer borders, double-clicking in that top cell, putting a wants in there. Okay, and then we're going to just take this total, Control-C, Control-V. It's going to bring the formatting alongside. All right, very super basic. We're pretty much just plotting out our how our spreadsheet is going to function and how to make it accessible for actually making it usable for what we're trying to do here. All right, is my screen, can you, hold on. Can you not see my, is the screen share working? Okay, it is. My thing's just lagging. All right, so how are we doing so far? Just doing a little styling. We don't have any engine yet. We're making little buckets for all the things to go. That is a kind of overall professional skill, personal skill, is organization. How are you going to outlay your information and how are you going to put it in accessible ways so that you can actually use the tools that we're trying to create here. All right, so we're going to get into our first sum function. Very simply, we're just going to take the sum of the needs and the wants column. All right. To do that, equals sign, and then write the word sum, and then put in some parentheses. This is where we're going to place a target for what our sum function is looking at, a variable perhaps. All right. So in the total section for needs, you're going to see that needs occupies column C. If I click on column C, it's going to give me this little ratio of a start to an end point. C to C, that's going to take whatever number, you don't have to put a dollar sign, but you can if you want to. Whatever dollar value I put into the needs, it's going to give me a total of that in this total box right over here. So when I hit enter, it should say 0. Does yours say 0? Yes. Awesome. You can test and make sure that this is working by going to C2 here, at least if you're directly copying my input like this. And you can type a 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter, 5, enter, and it should total up to 15. If that's the case, you've got your first sum function and the basic idea that we're going to be repeating across this spreadsheet ready to go. We can reformat it here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to delete these to make sure my my total column is working. Now, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Now if I zoom out a little bit, and I click on my C2, or my D2 here, excuse me, we're in column D, cell number 2. If I hit Control C and then Control V, you're going to notice it's going to automatically guess, intelligently enough, that instead we want to do the same thing based on the formatting for the E column. And if yours still says C to C, for example, if it just directly pulled it instead of converting it, it's going to total up the column of just C in each of these categories. Okay? You can see we're adding needs, but our wants total is going up. We don't want that. We want to make sure that in that F2 section, it says sum of E to E, or whatever column your wants live in, so that we have two versions of the same function plotting out how much money in total we're spending on things. All right? So somebody give me a handful of needs and how much they cost. Give me an example.
Gas.
Gas costs how much?
Like $60 a tank.
60 bucks a tank. Okay. I got some gas for $60. Give me another need.
Freaking water.
Water? How much is water?
It can't be free.
Okay. Are we paying for this water? This water that we need?
No.
Okay. Give me a financial need. Give me something that you need to spend money on. We talked about this yesterday, remember? We considered fast food a need. So if you want to give me an example of what a typical, Cole?
Housing.
Housing. Are you buying a house right now?
But other people are.
That's true. We want this relevant to high school for the moment. Give me a food total that you've spent
I
recently.
paid for my car payment.
Okay, that's a great one. How much is your car payment?
I'm paying around 300 a month.
300 a month? Okay. You need to pay for your car. We should have a total of 360. Give me one more need, please, and thank you. The sooner I get a need, the sooner we get finished, and the sooner you have your own time.
No, I don't know. You do food?
Okay, how much for food?
Is this on like a monthly basis?
This is one purchase. Each of these are a single purchase.
Maybe like $15.
$15. We good with $15 for food? Okay, so we've spent $375 on things that we need. What about things that we want? Same process. Give me three wants. Three new folks. What do we want? What do we want? Do you have something? I'm not judging you. Nobody should be judging you. This is your money. What do you want? Coffee? How much does coffee cost? $8 for coffee. Love it. Okay, our wants column is working. What else do we want? What kind of items? What kind of experiences? What floor tickets for $300 do we want right now?
Tyler the Creators.
Okay. How much are Tyler tickets?
$300.
Oh, crazy. Okay, $300 for Tyler tickets. Give me one more want. What else y'all want?
I want car parts.
Car parts? How much do car parts run you? For the, let's say you need,
Man, they're not cheap.
they are not cheap. Let's say you need new rims, or you want rims.
That's like a couple $100.
Okay. Call it 5. Too much? 3?
I think maybe like, yeah.
300. Okay. Are you seeing anything that might be a little bit confusing?
The wants are like almost twice as much as the.
No, it's just about the spreadsheet, but that is true.
Never mind.
Is it clear to tell what we are purchasing?
No.
So it's going to make it difficult when you go back and try to figure out where you want to re-spend your money or where you want to allocate more funds without some type of label. There's two ways you can label your spending. You can either use the comments on Google Sheets, which I find kind of annoying to use, but they are an option. If you click on the 3 dots, $60 was for gas. We click on the 300, that was for a car payment. And then we also have, what was $15? It was fast food. Oh, I don't want to link. Which restaurant is $15? And we'll just put fast food. It's fine. Okay, so we wanted coffee as well. We wanted Tyler tickets. And then we wanted car parts. This is one solution that when you go back and hover over, you can see what you needed. This one's a little bit less friendly to do on your phone though. A big thing that you want to figure out as you move into your adult life is making systems work for you. This is why I'm always emphasizing this is the system that I've found or I've combined using perhaps some applied creativity, ... These are systems that I've found work for me. They do not have to work for you. You get to decide what works for you. Personally, I don't love doing the comment version because it's harder to do on my phone, which is 9 times out of 10 what I'm spending money with. Whether that's tap into pay or that's buying something on a variety of apps, whether that's food delivery, Amazon, other stuff, right? So personally, this system can work, but I sense since we're thinking about how to use this most consistently, this is building a habit, another personal or professional skill, is doing something with consistency. I'm going to add a notes section to my needs and to my wants. Okay? So I'm going to take this D column, hit Control X, and move it over here to H. And then I'm going to take this F column, shift click to select the 2 cells, Control X to cut, Control V, move those over there. All right? Now, I'm going to go once again, notes, notes. Now instead of using comments, I can type gas, I can type car payment, and I can type food. And then for the wants, I can type coffee, I can type What were these? These were Tyler tickets. And then this was car parts. All right. So at a glance, it's clearer for me to see what my money's getting spent on. The world is more and more designed to keep your attention and to keep giving you stuff after stuff, right? Dopamine hit after dopamine hit. So you need to be efficient in the way that you manage your information, which is why I recommend that you add for each category that's specific to you, whether that's needs or wants, they also include some notes. Okay? On my example copy, you see I have my categories laid out like this, with fun notes, grocery notes, savings notes, and then each of their totals a little bit nearby what I'm trying to sort of categorize. Making sense so far? Okay, cool. This is still functional because remember it's taking the sum of the entire column. Right? We can put these anywhere on the spreadsheet, and the math should still math. If it's not, then we have a different issue. But, again, for accuracy's sake, how can I tell which total is which? Exactly. So you can put a note in the actual total itself, which is where I prefer to put it, again, for speed's sake. Needs total, wants total. So at a glance, I can quickly look and see, okay, I've spent $375 on stuff I need and $600 on stuff that I want. By putting the information like this, whatever shape that takes on your budgeting spreadsheet, you can quickly see a summary of where your money's going. You can use that information to decide if you're spending enough money on wants, or too much money on wants, or too much money on needs. Your life should be enjoyed. And I'm not saying you should only spend all of your money on things that you need. However, I am saying it's good to know if you're overspending on your wants while neglecting your needs. Because this goes beyond budgeting. This goes to also being just an adult, a mindful adult. Okay? We good so far? Cool. Now we need to start figuring out how our income fits into our budget. We're going to add another little sum function. Actually, we don't need a sum function right here. We will do a sum function on cells B3 and 4, or 4 and 5 here. Income, let's say I made $1,000 is a lot. I didn't make that much in high school. But minimum wage was a lot lower. What's a realistic monthly or weekly paycheck for y'all at this point? Monthly. What's a realistic paycheck? For those of you who work, how much are you getting paid per week? Or sorry, per paycheck. If you pay 2 paychecks a month, we'll multiply it.
2 paychecks a month? 240.
Okay, that's the total, or 240 each. Gotcha. Okay, so 240 is one. Another thing this helps you understand is if you might be getting underpaid, if your payment situation shifts. It's better you're better able to keep track. We're going to say, I heard a 240. Anybody else want to throw me a number, example number, so it's relevant? 240 for the month.
No, it's 240 per paycheck.
Okay, so 480.
Yeah.
480 a month. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm going to pay $240 a month? That doesn't sound right. Okay, we're going to say, since I only got one working number, our income is $480. All right, I'm almost done. I know I'm talking longer than I thought. Okay? What we want to do is decide how much we want to spend on needs and how much we want to spend on wants. I find a good number, if we look at my example copy, is that I spent 60% on bills, 10% on fun, 10% on groceries, and I put 20% in savings. If we put bills and savings as a need, that's 80%, and that leaves 20% for our wants. There is a version of budgeting that I've heard called I think it's 30, 20, 50. You save half your check, 30%, or half goes to needs, 30 to savings, and 20 for whatever you want. That number I find doesn't always work as well for the real world, at least with my spending habits. So let's say, are we good with 60% needs, 40% wants?
Yeah.
Okay. Any qualms? Anybody want to propose a different ratio? Okay. No ratios. All right. So since we're doing sum functions and we're trying to get to 1, we want to set the percentage that we're trying to spend on each of these as a decimal. Okay? 60% as a decimal is what? If 1 is 100, 0.6. That leaves 0.4 as a need. While it's called sum, which is typically a function used for addition, right? It's what it's doing here for our needs and for our wants. You can include a sum that has multiplication by a negative percentage to equal up to our 100% in B3 right here, our income. Call it a value of I if we want to use some formulaic stuff here. So the way that you would do that is you would type equals sum and then parentheses. You need 2 values. We have a needs total right here. We have an income total right here. All right. Since we're budgeting at this point, we're going to ignore the totals. Sorry, I got confused. My bad. We have an income value, and we have a percentage that we want to divide that income value by. So we're going to type the cell B2, just kidding, B3, to highlight that income times 0.6. And then when I hit enter, it's going to tell me $288 can be spent on needs out of our $400 income. We're going to do the same process for wants with our want percentage. Okay? Equals sum, parentheses, B3 again, because that's our I value. That's income. Asterisk for times 0.4. Leaves us $192 to spend on things we want. What I also need, because I have a smooth brain that can't remember anything, is I need something called a parity. I need a check. I'm not very good at math, so I like making the computer do the math for me. All right? You can call this a variety of different things underneath your needs and wants percentages. You can call it check. You can call it math. I call it parity because it's, that's parity. Parity, right? All you do is do a sum function of however much your budgets are. Since we have it simple with a needs and a wants category, we're going to type equals sum. And the same way that we did a range on the totals, right? This is C to C. This is E to E. We want the sum here to be B4 to B5. All right? Cell B4, it's going to highlight the needs percentage, a colon because we're creating a ratio, and then we're going to go to B5. This is the range of cells that Excel is going to use, or Sheets, whichever spreadsheet software you choose, that Excel is going to use to calculate 480. Okay? This is just to make sure that your budget is budgeting correctly. What I find with some of the templates that you can get online, or that if you're just learning how to put together a spreadsheet such as this, if you do your math wrong and you over budget, now you're negative. And we don't want to go negative, especially not when you're in college on the ramen level of income. Okay? So, another thing I like to add, let me take these out real quick, is a little balances remaining. I like to have a percentage bar to see how much money I can still spend on fun on needs or on wants, because that gives me something to look forward to. We're going to do a little bit more sum functions. We're going to introduce a little bit of redundancy. All right? Redundancy is just things checking against other things, which is why we need that math check to make sure that all parts of our spreadsheet are functioning correctly. I'm going to call this math check, actually. All right? You still with me so far? We're almost done. This is the last thing I need you guys to do. All right. I like to call this section balances remaining, or just remaining, because for space sake. Okay? Remaining for needs and for wants. Okay? Because currently we've spent more than our budget allows. We've spent about $900. We don't have $900 to be spending. Okay? So to do the remaining, we're going to subtract the income, the I value, from the total, the T value. All right? So these two cells, H2 and H4, hold our T value for the function that we need to write for needs and wants. Okay? So I'm going to start with equals sum. That's the only function we're using. Go into the parentheses. Can anybody tell me where my I value is? My income value. It's in B3. Okay, B3. Can anyone tell me where my needs T value is? H2. So we're going to subtract B3. Just kidding, other way. We're going to subtract H2 from B3. I think it would work either way. And that's going to give us $105 dollars in the hole on our needs category. We have overspent, which is okay. It happens to me every month. It's normal. It shouldn't be faulted. You know, it's not your guys's. Anyway, not the point. We're going to do the same thing for wants. Walk me through this process. What command do I start with? Equals sum. What's after the equals sum? Parentheses. Okay. What value am I looking for? Wants total, which lives where? It's in column H and count down from 1. H5? H4. So we're going to do H4. You can also click. Anyway. H4 minus, what am I subtracting? This is, you're looking for the I value. Where's the I value live? It is B. You want to try B5? I'm going to type in B5. That's a budget breakdown. It's in the B column though. Move up a little bit. It is B3. That's our I value, income. Okay, we still have $128 we can spend on wants. That can't be right, actually. Hold on. Wait. H4 minus B3. I think you're so right. Okay. Let's try that. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. You always want to start with your income. Your income sets the tone for the entirety of your budgetability. All right? I'm also going to throw another math check on there because I'm not confident in my math abilities. And this is more of a peace of mind thing for me. We're going to go sum of a range, B9 to B10. Negative 233. What happened? Hold on. Actually, we don't want to sum the remaining. The remainder is not our total value. It's not 100%. We actually want to sum these two numbers. How did I do it? Hold on. How did I do it with my other one? Yeah, it should be B12 to 15. Hold on. Maybe because these are negative. Here, let me see. Let me clear these. See if that gets back up to 480. Okay. Hold on. I did my math wrong somewhere. This should be negative. We do want it to be H. Hold on, guys. Sorry, this is not behaving the way I need it to. Let's try adding the income back in. All right, so we're going to skip the math check for remainder for now because I think this is clear. That we can spend. No, see, this is what I was talking about because this has budgeted twice what we need. Okay, hang on. We will actually, That'll be a version 2 thing. Congratulations. So all you need for this one is income and then a budget breakdown and then the needs total and the wants total. All right? So what I would like y'all to do, let me clear out these comments so that it's easier to work with here. I would like y'all to fill this in with your actual income, whether that is from money you've been given, money that you've asked for, money that you have saved. The idea is that you do this spreadsheet every time you get a significant amount of money, like a paycheck or like a gift or like something where it's more than just, hey, here's $2. You don't have to do a whole new spreadsheet for $2. Okay? Does this make sense? This is what I want you guys to complete today. Your own version. If you followed along with me, then you're in a good spot. But if you've not yet completed it, you need to complete one that looks similar to this. And I'm going to attach a video to your weekly thread. Okay? We start simply, then we get into more advanced features, such as this one. If I was to put in $200, it'll auto-calculate me a budget. It'll auto-calculate how much money I have left for bills, fund, groceries, and savings, as well as giving me a couple different math checks and checking my actual income.
We need math checks.
We
need the math check.
Math check, I think, is really important. If you think you could live without it, your call. It's not required. It is optional. But I do think the math check is important. Okay.